Hi, my name is Victoria Saavedra, and I'm going to reflect on my learning so far in this course, which is English 1301, and how I've engaged with the THECB student learning outcomes throughout the work I've done. The student learning outcomes are also called SLOs for a short word. Um, Over these past few weeks, me and my class have been focusing on readings, assignments, and reflections that have helped us understand how we learn as readers and writers and thinkers. I've completed a portfolio that highlights my processes, strengths, and areas of growth. In this class, I've learned a lot about how the SLOs connect to what we do as writers and thinkers. For someone who isn't in this class, these SLOs are basically skills that have helped students like me learn how to think better, communicate clearly with others, and take responsibilities for their choices. I've used critical thinking when I've analyzed readings and tried to form my own opinions instead of just repeating what I've read. Communication skills came into play when we did peer editing because we were placed into groups and, well, we had to talk amongst each other. For the annotated bibliography and the learner profile, because for the learner profile we had to make sure that our writing made sense to different audiences. I've practiced teamwork through peer editing as well when I've shared my feedback with other classmates. Personal responsibilities have also showed up literally for every assignment, because I have to manage my time, meet deadlines, and take ownership and improving my work. As if I were to get my work handed back to me, it would be my choice if I wanted to really work on it again or just keep the grade I've got. Which I have redone a few assignments because I'm not happy with the outcomes of my grades. And yeah, overall, these experiences have taught me a lot about myself, especially how I think, write, and learn. I've realized that these SLOs aren't just class requirements, because if you really think about it, everything that I've said, like personal responsibility, critical thinking, teamwork, it's all really, you use it in your everyday life. They're not just class skills, they're useful for every day. But the first SLO I would like to talk about is critical thinking. The definition of the critical thinking is the ability to analyze and evaluate the logic and reference of information in text to solve problems, reach well-reasoned conclusions, and explore new questions. I've practiced this in all my reading journals, including the Mike Bunn's How to Read Like a Writer, Greta Dysbender's Critical Thinking in College, Lenny Ironi's Changing Your Mindset About Revision, Karen's Reading Games, and I always say this name wrong, I'm so sorry. Darabo, and I don't know how to say his name to this day. Each of these have helped me practice questioning the author's purpose, analyze their logic, and evaluate the evidence they have presented to me. For example, Bunn's essay really helped me to see how analyzing a writer's choices can inform my own writing, and really also Dasbender's pushed me to support my ideas with evidence rather just my opinions. The next SLO is written communication. I feel as written and oral communication are kind of the same to me, because for the peer editing, we had to talk to them about how we would like help them, like how we would really change the text if like it were our text, but we also had to do it, like write it on the side. So I think they're kind of the same, but let me just tell you the definitions and you can kind of see why they're kind of the same. The SLO about written communication is about adapting your writing to a specific context, audience, and purpose while using appropriate languages and sources. I practice this primarily through my annotated bibliography. This assignment required me to summarize and evaluate several readings, which were all my reading journals, while also connecting them to my own reflections and writing goals. I had to follow academic conversations and organize each entry clearly, which helped me learn how to communicate ideas in a structured and professional way. This is the oral communication SLO. We have practiced this every time I shared my thoughts in discussions, which is every time I got put into a group, which is like I think 2 times a week, which is almost every day for the whole week. Or when I record my reflections like I'm doing right now. Explaining my ideas out loud has forced me to organize my thoughts logically and use clearer examples and adapt my language for an audience that may not know anything about the text I have read. And I'm sorry if I'm not doing a really good job. This is my first time, but I'm trying my best. Visual communication, we really haven't gone over it too much. So but visual communication skills have come into play when we had gotten our annotated bibliography and we kind of had to make it as the example we were provided, and it's how to organize and present my portfolio. I use like the way that I make my stuff also, like I use headings, formatting, and annotations in a way that made it easier to navigate and understand. This really helped me see how visual presentation supports my communication by guiding the reader's attention and emphasizing key points, like I'm doing with this portfolio. Like I have made every section you have required. And then also teamwork was a big focus during our peer editing. The SLO defines teamwork as collaborating effectively with others to problem solve while also respecting others' perspectives. In peer editing, I provided constructive feedback to my classmates, and I've also received feedback of my own writing. Giving feedback required me to think critically about someone else's work, communication suggestions, and respect their ideas. Receiving feedback also helped me reflect on my own choices and consider different approaches to improve my writing. Lastly, the final SLO I want to talk about today is personal responsibility, because personal responsibility is really about connecting your choices and actions to consequences and decision making. I practice this literally every day with every class, not just this class. I've like when we do assignments, including the learner profile, reflections, the revision plan, the annotated bibliography, developing my reading environment, developing this portfolio right now, the annotated strategies, practicing reading and writing, evaluating authority, conducting investigations, and peer editing. For example, the learner profile reflections Reflection and revision plan required me to honestly access my strengths and weaknesses, like getting distracted, and plan ways to improve. This this SLO is really just about you have to accept the fact that your choices and what you do really have consequences. Like if I don't turn in an assignment, that's my choice, and I have to be okay with the fact that I could possibly get a 0, and also like it's my responsibility. That's literally what it means. Personal responsibility is my responsibility. Like if I have an assignment, I have to do it, and I have to get it done. In terms of writing and behaviors and practices, I focused on writing and reading processes, revision and feedback, rhetorical awareness, and information literacy. The writing process, the reading and writing process came through in developing my reading strategies, annotation practices, and reading environment. Revision and feedback were key in my revision plan and peer editing when I used feedback to improve my drafts. Rhetorical awareness came into play when I thought about audience, purpose, and format in my annotated bibliography and journals. And also, information literacy was practiced was when we were evaluating sources, assessing authority, and conducting investigations for research. Working with these SLOs and doing all this writing in this class has taught me a lot about myself. Like critical thinking has helped me slow down and organize my ideas better. I feel as if my communication skills have improved from taking this course because it has really shown me how important it is to write clearly for my audience, like to know who I'm really talking to. Also, teamwork has taught me that I can learn a lot from someone else's feedback. Like when we did the annotated bibliography, I got a lot of feedback and I gave feedback, so it really helped. And personal responsibility reminded me that staying on top of deadlines and managing my time wisely makes a difference in my work. Overall, I realized that writing isn't just about words on the page, it's also about how I think, learn, and improve. These assignments and reflections have helped me practice critical thinking, communication effectively, and reading, writing, and speech, collaborating with others, and taking responsibilities for my own learning. They've shown me reading, writing, and thinking are connected, and that improvements come from being reflective, engaged, and in my work. But my two questions that remain are: how can I still stay focused and avoid getting distracted easily when I'm trying to read or write? I notice that I lose concentration easily, especially when I'm working on longer assignments like the reading journals, and I want to find better ways to stay on task. How can I organize my thoughts? Also, how can I organize my thoughts before I start writing? Sometimes I have good ideas, but I struggle on putting them together in logical order which makes it harder for me to write smoothly and stay confident in what I'm saying. And I think, yeah, that's really all I have as of right now. And thank you for your time.